Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today I want to show you how to play the guitar solo to Avenged Sevenfold song Dancing Dead from their Diamonds in the Rough B-side album. Okay, for the first part we're starting off on the A string. We're going to be palm muting, alternate picking, and implementing a legato in this first part of the solo. So on the A string, we're starting off on 5, 8, 7, 8. Then we're going to shift higher up on the fretboard, 8, 10, 8, 10. Still palm muting. We're moving on to the next string, D string, playing 6, 7, 6, 7, palm muted. Then we're going to stop palm muting for the following notes. That's G string, 6, 7, 6, hammer on, pull off. Then with our pinky, we're going to go to 10 on the D string palm mute. And then we're going to go back on the 6 on the G string, and here's where the legato starts. Play the 6, slide to 7, and then we're going to legato the following notes. Legato meaning hammer-ons and pull-offs all the way through. So once we hit the slide from 6 to 7, we're going to do a chromatic legato. All the notes are right next to each other, and we're going to use all 4 fingers for 4 notes. So slide from 6 to 7, hammer on 8, 9, 10, pull off 9, pull off 8, pull off 7. From there you can either continue doing the legato without picking and simply sliding from 7 to 9, and then continue the legato 10, 11, 12, 11, 10, 9, pick 12, bend. Or you can do the legato by picking the next sequence. So from the first sequence would be 7, pick 9, so that maybe you have more sustain on the guitar if you kind of lose power as you're doing the legato. And then the last one would be 12 on the G, the end of the legato, bend. For the next part of the solo, we're playing in the pentatonic scale, 2 notes per string, and we're using legato with alternate picking. So we're going to start off on high E, 10, 13, 10, that's a legato. Pick 13 on the B, pick 10 on the E, pick 13, 10, 13 on the B. Then we're going to start the legato again on the B string, same notes as on the E, 10, 13, 10. Same notes again, alternate picking, 13 on the G, 10 on the B, 13 on the G. And then we're going to do again a legato, 10, 13, 10 on the G. And this is where the notes change, and we're going to use more alternate picking. So at that last legato, you pick 12 on the D, back to 10 on the G, back to 12, then on that same string, 10, and then you're going to go to the A string with your pinky, 12, 11, 10, and then 8, and then pick on the low E10 vibrato. So in that last part, again, we're using a chromatic scale, notes right next to each other, utilizing all of the fingers. In this section of the solo, we're going back to the lower end of the fretboard, starting off on the A string 5. The pattern does change, and we're adding an extra chromatic legato to it. take a look. So the notes in the beginning stay the same, 5, 8, 7, 8. Now we're jumping onto the D string, 6, 7, 6, 7, palm muted. And then we're jumping to the G string, 6, 7, 6, 7. And here you're going to do the two familiar patterns from the first part of the solo, starting on the 7. But this time we're adding one more pattern to it, and that's shifting to the 11 and doing the same chromatic legato. And then pick 14 and bend. For this section of the solo, we are doing some alternate picking with some bends and some pull-offs. Let's take a look. We're starting on the 15th note on the high E. We're going to start alternate picking it real quick. Bend, release, pull off to 13, pick 15 on the B, back to 13 on the high E, pick 15 twice, and then the second time bend. From that bend, you're going to pull off the 13, so you're going to then kind of sweep pick actually upwards to 15 on the B, and then 14 on the G, and then down pick 13 on the G. Here we have a tapping pattern where we're using our left hand and tapping with our right hand. We're going to be doing legatos with the left, and in this case with my middle finger tapping, or some people also use their index finger. I'll show you individually what each hand is doing. So the left hand, firstly of course, you have to pick the note to kind of jumpstart the engine. Pick high E9. And then you start the legato with your left and then tap with your right. Okay, so you pick it, 9, and then tap with your right hand, 13. Then you're going to pull off with your right hand, middle finger, to 12, pull off to 10, pull off to 9, and then you repeat the pattern. And then the second pattern, you're shifting higher up on the fretboard, 12, 13, 15, that's with your left hand. And you're alternating 3 notes tapping with your right hand. That's 16, 17, 18, 17, 16, and then 17. That's when the pattern ends. And with the last note, you're tapping on 20. Or you can slide, which is actually what I believe is being done in the actual studio version, but I like to tap it. You can choose what you like best. And that's that part. In this section, we are alternate picking all of the notes. We're starting off on the high E. That's 13, 16, 17, 16. You're going to play that pattern 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then play that pattern one more time, except without the 16 at the end. So just 13, 16, 17. Then you're going to shift your middle finger to 13 on the high E. 12, 13, 12, and then B string 14, 15. Now the last part of the solo is extremely difficult, takes a lot of practice. You can make it easy on yourself by doing it all legato, but I prefer to pick it just as the studio version does because it just sounds that more powerful. Okay, so we're doing 3 notes per string, so that's also chromatic. And notice how with each pattern we're shifting 1 fretboard upwards. So we're starting on the 10th note and we're going descending 10, 9, 7. Take a look, starting on the 10, 11, 12, 13. So that the first note is always shifting by 1 fretboard. Okay, so what's the pattern? The 3-note pattern is the first one on the B string, 10, 9, 8, then shifting to 11 on the G string, 11, 10, 9, shifting to the high E string, 12, 11, 10, then shifting 1 fretboard again, 13, 12, 11, back on the B. Now here we're resetting the pattern by going to the 13 on the high E instead of the 14. So 13, 12, 11, and now we're shifting again 1 fretboard upwards on the B string, 14, 13, 12, high E, 15, 14, 13, B string, 15, 14, 13. Then you're going to want to do the last part with starting off with your pinky, 15 on high E, bend, release, pull off 13, pull off 12, pick 15 on the B string, or you can also legato it. Pick 12, hammer on 13, hammer on 15, bend. Now the reason why you should start with your pinky is because you're doing a 3-note legato on the high E. If you start off with your ring finger, you're just not gonna, it's just an awkward point to do that legato. Thanks a lot for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button. If you want to stick around for more, be sure to subscribe. And if you have any questions regarding this lesson or any future lessons, please leave them in the comment section below. I will see you all again on the next video.